Hey everybody, this is NW Manitou, and borrowed a camera from a friend, so I figured I'd give my hand at videotaping one of the ubiquitous survival kit videos here on YouTube. Looked like a lot of fun, so I figured I'd show and tell. Anyway, this is my little pack, my little day pack. Hopefully you can see it nicely. This is what works for me. This is what I put together with my experience and my preferences. Survival kits are as unique as the individuals that carry them. This right here is a culmination of many trips and a lot of years of experimentation. This is a little Faro EE pack. It's tougher than nails. I absolutely love it. It snaps onto my main pack with these buckles right here. So it's always piggybacking on my main pack. Whenever I leave camp, whenever I go on a day hike, or if I'm just going just on a day outing, this is what's on my back. On the back here, I have a little antler fire bow bearing that was given to me as a gift from Bushcraft on Fire, from Dave Wendell. It's just kind of neat, adds some character to my pack, and I do have fun demonstrating that skill with other campers. And I've even used the tip right here to flint nap some real crappy arrowheads. I have put on these little cat eyes reflector tape. If I have to find my pack in the dark, or if I'm on the trail and we're doing a night hike, it's nice for my Boy Scouts or whoever might be behind me. They can, look up ahead and they can see my pack right there on the trail in front of them, well, on my back, obviously. Inside this little pouch, I have a 2-liter hydration packet with a bite valve. I find it convenient and easy to drink that way while I'm on the trail instead of fumbling with a canteen, though I don't mind either. I've used a canteen for years. This is what I really want to stress. This is my emergency whistle. I used to keep this on the back of my pack tied to one of the zippers. And before that, I kept it inside of my pack in one of the little pouches. Now, after stumbling off the trail on a recent trip, I realized, say I twisted my neck or twisted my back, broke an arm or a leg, there is no way I could have got access to this whistle had it been inside my pack or even on the back of my pack. Where it is, I can just reach my head down and almost with just my lips pick it up and blow on it. So I like to keep, a potentially life-saving device where I can use it should I need it. Well, let's get to the inside of the pack now. This equipment that I have in this bag, this is the stuff that I use every time I go camping. It isn't just a bag that I put together and I keep with me in case of emergencies. This bag contains all of my, well, not all of my, but most of my important camping gear or survival gear, whichever, that I carry whenever I'm in the bush. I use it constantly. I am constantly evaluating pieces in it. I'm constantly upgrading or changing out other pieces that I find more useful. And I mean, it's slowed down now because I feel like I've got to a real happy place. But this gear has seen a lot of use. A lot of people put together really nice kits, and they're well thought out. A lot of them, some of them are really kind of silly. But one thing that I've noticed is a lot of people don't have the opportunity, time, or whatever, to go and actually test their equipment in the field and see what really works and what doesn't. Because in my opinion, there's a lot of gear on the market, there's a lot of little gadgets and stuff that are either extremely overhyped or, worse, they're absolute garbage. They're useless. They say they can do things in hypothetical situations, but when you're actually out in the dirt, they don't perform, they don't hold up, they don't work the way they're supposed to. And if that's a critical piece of gear that somebody is relying on, it could have serious consequences. So to everybody out there, I would highly suggest that you go out and give your kit a real workout in the field. Come back, evaluate, and adjust as necessary. Besides all this right here, there's one more little pouch that's on my pack. I'll open that up in just a second. This big guy I'm going to save for part 2, so I'm going to put him right here. The way I build my pack is with the rule of threes in mind. The way it goes is you've got roughly 3 minutes without air. You have 3 hours without shelter, and what that means is you have 3 hours to keep your core temperature under control. You have roughly 3 days without water, and after that you've got 3 weeks without food. Some people like me could probably hibernate through the winter, but food is really the last priority. So with that in mind, in my little day pack, what I always carry with me is my poncho. Now this is not just for keeping the rain off of me. This is a shelter. I can set it up like a tarp, a ground pad. I can use it as, I can fill it with leaves and snap the buttons together and use it like a mattress. There's a lot of uses for a poncho. They are an instant shelter in a bag to help you, keep your core temperature where it's supposed to be. Along with, again, keeping my core temperature. This is all, of course, assuming that I have air. Over here, nothing sucks more than being cold at night, especially when you're trying to sleep. So I keep a little beanie in my pack at all times. I wear this beanie. I get to camp, I take off my boonie hat, I go in my bag, I pull out my beanie. And this is great. Continuing on that same vein, this is a bandana, a little triangular bandana. I make these myself. I just go get the fabric and cut them in a triangle and then hem the edges. My wife actually did this one, that's why it's all pretty decorative. Isn't that cute? I stash these all over my pack. These are fantastic. They keep the dirt and snot and bugs out of my hair. You can use it for filtering the grit out of water. I've used it as a dinner plate for eating fish. Use it for grabbing hot things out of the fire, as a bandage, as a sling, as something to protect your eyes or mouth from wind and during storms. And even as a hat, for sunburn and everything like that. So they don't weigh anything. They're great. Carry a bunch of them with you. That's my advice. Again, part of the whole shelter thing, which is, my clothing and my body. These are gold, absolute gold. Get yourself a pair of hard-use leather gloves. The key idea is, if you mess up your hands while you're out in the bush, especially in a survival situation, you really slant to the odds against you. These protect your hands. They're fantastic. I don't go into the woods without those. And then over here, I don't like using bug repellents. They make my skin irritated and they stink. The other thing is anything with DEET in it. DEET is actually a solvent that damages a lot of plastics and a lot of synthetics. It'll melt through goggles and watches and cameras and the nylon in your pack if it leaks. DEET is pretty caustic. Who knows what else it does to you. So instead I opted for what many people call an insect barrier or a head net. I like the black. If you get green, it'll drive you nuts after a while because the light reflecting on it is kind of bothersome. Black is nice because you can see through it. This particular model, this particular one anyway, it has straps that go underneath my arms, so the net comes right down to my top of my chest and my back, and it's fantastic. I've been out elk hunting where the horse flies were absolutely vicious. I was tired, so I put my head net on. I tucked my hands in my pocket, I lay down and went to sleep. Sure, the flies were angry, they landed on the head net, they buzzed around, but they couldn't get at me. In addition, these nets can be used for drying out clothing, they can be used as netting for catching small fish and crayfish like a dip net or a seine. You can fill them with snow and hang them near the fire, not close enough to melt it, but close enough that the snow will be heated up and melted, and it'll just drip right through the mesh netting into a container that you have placed below it, so that you can actually use this for getting water. And again, you can use it for filtering out the large particles out of water, just like the bandana. Speaking of water, this is my filter. This is a Sawyer water filter. They're not terribly expensive, and they say on their website that they got a 1,000,000-gallon guarantee. I don't know about 1,000,000 gallons, but so far it's worked for me. It's a gravity filter, and basically in my bag, behind my water bladder, I have cheap piece of crap water bladder from wherever that I bought for $5 from a sporting goods secondhand store, and I fill this with dirty water from the creek, and then I hang it from a tree or whatever, or hold it, and it hooks up to the hoses on this little guy, and it drips out into my clean water bag, and then I've got good water ready to drink. I don't like the taste of chemical treatment. It sucks. Let me tell you. And boiling uses a lot of fuel, a lot of time. Some people do it. It's not my style. Also, with this filter, it has the option of, I have a little bit of hose with a bite valve on it, so I can hook this to the filter itself on the output, and then I can hook the input of the filter right here with this hose directly to my water bladder. So if I had to, I can fill my water bladder up with water, dirty water or contaminated water, and I could just suck it right through and drink it as is, keeping the filter in line. So that's nice to have that option.